Vera, how are you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How are you?
good. I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I just submitted my question to your system. So yeah,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
you can check it out there.
Absolutely. Let's open that up. See if I can find it somewhere. Let's see. All right. All right. So let's take a look at this. Let's see here. So let me copy this over to the. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so you connected to a senior working at Amazon and got a referral from another one at Amazon without talking to him at all. And the new connection offered me a meeting and wants to talk about some specific positions in his team. What I really need from you right now is, I think this meeting would be different from the networking meeting since we are going directly to discuss about the open positions in his team, but I won't define it as an interview. What specific preparation should I do? Bottom line, what I need is, okay, advice on structuring the meeting, preparing for potential questions that may be asked. Okay, can you actually show me the email messages that you have had with this person? And that would help me.
Yeah, of course. Can I share my screen with you?
Yeah, let me set that up. Let's see here, stop sharing, and then multiple participants. Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, here's the message that we had with the new connection that I get referred. So yeah, I'm reaching out to see if you're interested in exploring new career opportunities. And this is the team he's working at, the Alexa mobile business intelligence team.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think your profiles would be
Okay, so how did this, I see below your response was that, thank you for reaching out. Adrian Herdage suggested to me that you would be a good networking contact. Um, is that, so this individual, Guy, did Guy, was it just by chance that Guy reached out to you, or did Adrian tell him to reach out to you?
yeah. This is very like weird because I didn't even talk to Adrian at all.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Adrian just said, okay, I think this one would be a good connect, and he didn't say I will contact him or you should contact him. I just got a message from him after Andrew said it, and yeah, here's how it's going.
Okay.
I didn't even send a message to I don't know how to pronounce the first
Guy,
name.
G,
G
yeah, just think about it as like GYY, Guy.
G okay G
Yeah. Okay.
yeah and yeah he just sent me this message like want to talk about the opportunities in his team.
Yep.
So yeah,
Mhm.
of course I accept it, and we set up meeting tomorrow.
Okay, good. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you handled this well. You were quick to respond and confirm the meeting on the calendar, so that's very good. So let's take a look at how to prepare. So this should be considered an interview. And of course, networking is also, in the sense, also interviewing in a sense. So let me just take a look at this. So when we're networking, we're actually networking versus interviewing is an interesting topic. And generally speaking, how this kind of divides itself is in one case, case A, you reached out and you requested the meeting.
Mhm.
And this is get them to know you and then to like you and then to act on what you want to support you, which
Mhm.
is going to be either a referral or an interview opportunity. So that's what you're always going for when you reach out. The other is that you receive a request from someone else. And of course, the same thing applies here. We want to get them to know you, to like you, and then want to support you. And in this case, the example here, the support that you want is it's clear.
Yeah.
You want to be invited to the next, not the job, you want the next round of interview. That's
Mhm.
what you're going for. You want to get to that next round of interview.
True.
So what you need to do here is you need to impress this person with your understanding of the role. So do what you can. You read about Alexa, read about the plans and its applications. This could be anything, but in this case, it happens to be a role with Amazon and Alexa. You want to understand the skills that get deployed. So read the job description if there is one. Have you received a job description yet?
I didn't receive any job description from
No.
him, but I do find one from the Amazon's website.
For the same
I'll
role?
um it's in the title, very similar to what he said. I'll share it in the chat box.
Okay. So what we typically do in this kind of situation where you're invited to do an interview, I'll look at your chat in a second, but typically what we're doing when we are invited to chat or invited to an interview is there's actually a section or a training on that called invited to interview in week 6 of the training. So if we just go to that, I'll just point this out to you and then you can go have a look
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm.
But when you're invited to interview, let's see here. When you're invited to interview, you're generally seeking to complete a checklist um, of you want to find out if there's a job description, and you want to find out if, see if I have this covered here. These are the things that you, when you're going through a interview or preparing for an interview, you want to basically know these things: the job description, the names of the people, which you do know, how their name is
Mm.
spelled, and how to say it. So it's Guy.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Their
find it
job
out.
title. Yeah. So all of this information here, you can take a screenshot if you want. These are the kind of things you want to know before you go into the interview. Of course, some of this information you already know and you don't need to worry about. You don't need to arrive anywhere early, for example, because that's going to be online. But
Mm.
what you might do is to show your interest in the role, instead of going in blind, it would be acceptable for you to go respond to Guy, say, Guy, I'm looking forward to our call tomorrow. Can you please send me a job description for the role in question?
Okay.
I
Okay.
do not recommend guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not recommend being the person that goes into an interview without don't be that person going into the interview where they know you haven't received a job description
Okay.
and you haven't even asked for one.
Mm.
That
Okay. I like it.
is not as professional as somebody who sends a short note saying, hey, Guy, I'm looking forward to our call tomorrow. Could you please send me a job description for the role in question if available?
Okay.
Question
Okay.
mark. Thank
Mm.
you. Look forward to chatting. Vera. And that way you will understand specifically what they're looking for. And then when you speak to the person, you can target your words to and use the language of the job description.
Yeah.
Because if this one job description that you're guessing is right goes in a different direction, that won't be, they might say, oh, well, that's for a different job, right? They're going to be, he's going to be talking to so many people about the job that you want to try to be the best fit. So let's
Okay.
take a look at
Mm.
the thing you just sent over here. You guess it's the business intelligence engineer, which is fine. Let's take a
Okay.
look at it. Oh, it looks like it disappeared. That link
Uh,
doesn't work.
can I share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Let's see here. Um, Let me get it to fit to the window. Okay. So here's the role. Okay. So good. So if you could talk about your love for working with BI tools, and ideally this kind of a candidate for this role, if we look at if we take a look here, let's see if I can't really annotate this, but I'm just going to read from the top. So Alexa is the name of this cloud service. So they're looking for, in this role, you will develop and support the analytic technologies that give our teams flexible and structured access to data, including implementation of the BI platform, defining metrics and KPIs, automating reporting, and data visualization. So in your discussion tomorrow, let's say this was the role, then ideally you would be able to talk about projects in school. If you've never had any work experience doing this, at least
Mm.
talking about projects in school where you've had the experience of defining metrics and KPIs, automating reporting, data visualization, things like that. So a
Yeah.
successful candidate knows and loves working with BI tools, is comfortable accessing and working with data from multiple sources, can partner with internal stakeholders. So if you had some stories about when you had to partner with somebody to get usable data sets, or work with a data set, or help a team with a data set, that would all be useful stuff.
Mm.
So
Yeah. This is what I prepared for now.
good.
Like I prepared some stories about data visualization about the projects I did at school. And yeah, I also prepared a story about working with teammates and uh, work with data from multiple sources.
Right. So then what's important here is then the end part of the interview
Mm.
are the questions that you want to ask
Yeah.
of this person. So that will also set you apart. So being prepared with some stories, and then at the end they'll say, hey, because you're just trying to get to the next interview. You're not trying to get the job here,
Okay.
just to get to the next round. So it's not such high pressure, but you want to stand out as somebody who deserves the next round of interviews. And so
Mm.
asking good questions is, I think, one of the best things you can do. Let me go ahead and share my screen again
Okay.
and point out the types of questions. When you're preparing for an interview, having certain questions to bring could be good. So here in this download, I'll open up this download number 3, and I will just point out, you don't have to spend a whole night reading my course, but you can just kind of identify a couple things here which might be helpful. So I think, confirming what do you feel? So, hey, Vera, do you have any questions for me? You might say, well, let's see here. What do you feel are the most important skills needed to be successful in this position? If it hasn't been addressed, you should ask that.
Okay.
Beyond the job description, how or I would say skip to this question here. What would be what should be my number one priority coming into the organization in this role? I would skip number 4. I would talk about and then maybe why is this position open? At this time, what's going on in your team that calls for you to hire another person?
Okay.
I'm guessing it's because of growth, but I'd love to understand more about why it is that you're hiring now.
Okay.
And then what you can, if you wanted to ask, what about my profile did you find attractive for this role?
All right.
That's kind of a neat question, because they start talking about why you are a good fit.
Yeah, true.
And then you can think, hey, thank you for reaching. So at the first question, you might say, hey, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Tell me a little bit about what you saw that made you think I would be a good fit for this role.
Okay.
And
so
then
this gonna be like, sorry.
Yeah, and then what is the next step in this process? So this is another good question to ask. What is the next step in this process for, and when should I expect to receive feedback? So and if you have more questions that come up, like you have an industry question, I noticed Alexa is now this or that, or you read an article yesterday which suggested that Alexa might double in growth next year. It's not a bad idea to go into Google and make sure that Alexa Echo, and you just Google that, but you specifically go to news, because we're not interested in products. And okay, these are a bunch of let's see if there's anything unique to. It's all about Echo frames. Amazon updated Echo frames. We don't need to read about setting up Amazon. I don't see anything that stands out here. Certainly lots of news. It might be better to go to their website and see what they have to say about it specifically. Amazon. And if you really wanted to impress them, right, you would go into maybe some corporate presentations here, actionable analytics for the web. So read about what they have to say about Alexa there.
Okay.
But then within their corporate investor relations team, so if you go to investor relations and then you read something about their annual report or the quarterly release, let's see here. Press releases. So what have they said recently about in the press? So SageMaker just came up And, this SageMaker Data Wrangler is a new capability. And so you could mention that you read about that and see if there is any application to what's going on with Alexa. And there may not be, but that might be interesting here. And let's see here, anything about, so let's go back here. Where else can you prepare information about an interview? I would say these annual reports and proxies, and then in the annual report, I mean, it can be sometimes helpful to just do a search. So Control F here, and then Alexa comes up several places. And Alexa has been active in helping U.S. customers check their risk. Let's see here. It's also been, you see where, and it's mentioned 7 times. So you don't need to read the whole annual statement. You just see where it comes up at all. And it doesn't come up very much at all. Really, there's not much mentioned about Alexa in this report. Business intelligence doesn't come up at all. Echo mentioned 1 time. So I don't think this is a good source of information, of any kind of information. So you might just kind of read through a couple of the press releases recently. At least that'll give you some confidence that you've checked those things.
Yeah. Okay, so shall I raise the question about what do you think, like I am a good fit to this position, or what attract you through my profile to be a good fit to this position? Shall I raise the question at first, or I just ask it at the end of the interview?
You can ask it as one of the questions toward the end. It doesn't have to be the first question. But it's
Okay.
what I'm talking about is that part of the interview where at the end, the interview asks you, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, okay.
It's at the end.
So, yeah, I found we set up the meeting for 45 minutes. So I do believe it's kind of like it's kind of like a very pre-interview or a first round.
It's a
And
first
so
round
I
interview
should
or a second round.
okay. Okay, so should I just follow the structure, like answer the questions what he asks, or should I be the leader of the
Primarily, if since they requested the call, they
Uh-huh.
will have an agenda that they want to follow.
Okay, so I just need to follow the process they have. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
In this case, you will not be asking this person for networking contacts or anything like that, but it doesn't mean you couldn't have a nice conversation about what this person is doing in that in that industry, in that space. You should go to the person's LinkedIn profile. You should read anything they talk about LinkedIn. When you first speak with them on the call, you could say, hey, Guy, very nice to speak with you. And I noticed that before Amazon, you worked at this, or I noticed you've been at Amazon for several years. I had a chance to check out your profile. It looks like you're doing a lot of great work there. And you can reference the fact that you checked out their profile or ask a question based on their profile as a way to break the ice, which would be similar to a networking meeting.
Okay.
And then he's going to say, tell me about yourself. And then you need to state some accomplishments that you have had in the past, either through projects or other work as that response, and that you're very interested in developing as a business intelligence engineer or whatever the role is. And so you're very happy that he reached out to you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll firstly send him a message to ask for a job description tonight, and just prepare it as a interview.
Yep.
Okay, I will. I'll check out the videos that you posted in week 6, and
Cool.
hopefully I'll be prepared.
They're pretty short. Cool.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. That's the question for today, and I just saw another person here, so maybe
No problem. That's great.
over time. Yeah. Thank you so
Understood.
much.
Sure.